at the end of the day, if my kid comes home with a smile on her face,
Yeah, that's a good thing.
that's a win.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the alternate ending is not something I ever want to live with.
No.
You know? And so regardless of how comprehensible some of this stuff is, something about looking at that and seeing those smiles coming back made me feel so good and so happy.
Welcome back to Just Weirdly Blended. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tom.
And we worked out this morning.
Yeah, yes, we did.
And when I was working out, I remember I was like at the end when we were all stretching.
Yes.
I don't know. I thought about a name for the podcast instead of Just Weirdly Blended,
really?
Which we're going to stick with Just Weirdly Blended. But I was like, the greatest podcast never heard.
Oh, like the greatest story never told or something like that.
Yeah,
Isn't
something
there
like that.
There's a little play
And I was
on
like, that
words
would
there.
be the name of the podcast.
Yeah. Or if two guys speak a podcast and nobody hears it, did it ever really happen? That'd be a long name for a podcast.
That's like what is those psychology?
Yeah. Haiku. I think they know.
What is it? What is it when they like does a tree make noise if it falls in the
right,
river or whatever?
right. Like philosophical.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
We can have a philosophical name.
The physiological. Yeah. No, it's we've been working out at that gym, Orange Theory, for
you've been doing it for
what, a couple weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3
2 weeks or something.
It's kind of a time warp there. I've been a handful of times. It feels like I've been going a long time, but I don't think I really have. So I'm not sure how long I've been going, but it's good. It's like the high intensity workouts, which traditionally I hate. I think I said that last week, but it's very motivating in there.
It is.
You know, and you walk out and you're like, it's done. It's over. Because I used to spend like 2 hours doing workouts back the last time I was working out a lot.
Do you feel like you get more of a workout doing it this way than when you were doing 2 hours?
Yes and no. I feel like I'm doing two different things. Like back then, I would take what was supposed to be a HIIT workout, and if I wanted to stop, I would just be like, forget it. Like I wouldn't quit, but they're like, all right, do this as fast as you can. I'd be like, I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna stop for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I get back to it. This one, it definitely makes me try to not stop as much. Although I at this point I have to sometimes.
Sometimes it's okay to take like a breath.
Yeah, I mean, like there's moments I'm like in the red, right? Because it's Orange Theory, not Red Theory.
Yeah.
So I'll like stop for a minute and kind of get my heart rate down again, and then pick it back up. And I know that's gonna get better as time goes on.
Yeah.
But I never made myself really do that. I didn't really. I liked. I think I pushed harder in some ways because like I would do more weight knowing that I was going to give myself whatever time I wanted to recoup. But then on the other side, it was like all I ever did because it was like 2 hours of working out.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I feel like home gyms, I know people say like, well, you can just pay that, which is right,
we did. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of.
But it's so easy not to do it.
I don't mind having the home gym for like, if I feel like doing like bench press or something.
Yeah.
For a
for
heartbeat.
sure.
Like I can just go do it. And when I'm in shape, I tend to do that kind of stuff more. Just be like, I think I'll go do a rep of 10 for no reason.
Yeah, well, I have dumbbells in my room, and so every now and then I'll just grab them and just do a couple.
Look at us all.
Just
superhero.
Dude, I'm just like a gym right now.
You get to like stare yourself down in the mirror when you're running. Sometimes I'll just look at myself and be like, don't you quit.
What I do is I'll look at myself run, just make sure like I look okay.
Yeah.
Like my form looks all right.
My hair all right?
Oh shit, my hair is messed up. And then I'll read above. There's a couple motivational things that are up there.
There's a whole bunch of stuff written.
And there's been a couple times I'm like, oh, this sucks. And it's like, I know this sucks. Just keep going. You're like, oh shit, all right, I'm supposed to read that.
You are the strength you read.
But it is weird that there's like a mirror.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, I don't know.
I do find it supportive to be able to stare myself in the eyes. I look at myself and I'm like, could I look at that guy and think he's a runner? Yeah.
No, yeah, you were running. I seen your speeds were up there.
Yeah, I ran a 9, and then I did not do that again, but I'll get there.
It just takes time.
It's so weird, because it's like I can't slow go. Like just my natural pace is pretty fast.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So I have to start at least a 4. This is so stupid. I don't need to get into these.
Move
details.
on.
Anyway, the point being, I'm not at the point I can really push hard. I'm like red and orange all the time. Because I'm just not in great shape, but getting there. Long story short, long story not as long as it could be. So we're like working out again. That's a good thing. Trying to stay healthy.
Like we've mentioned a million times in this podcast, it's that ebb and flow in life. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
There was a moment there where we were like, work out.
Yeah.
And then it just went like, nah, I'm going to eat like shit.
But it was almost a little too much for me. Like I even though I talked about not letting it take over everything, it kind of did.
Yeah, I think there's a happy medium. I think it was
clear at that time in the podcast that that's what was happening because that's all I ever talked about.
You're like, yeah, dude, I repped out 75 max pounds.
Yeah, and look at that. That's how big my arms got. So, yeah. I don't know. I just don't put on bulk.
Dude,
that's all right.
One of my techs, he's big time into... I have a couple techs that are big gym rats. One, he does powerlifting. Brian.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about how he gets protein because he has to get so much protein in, right? Which
he just eats an entire pig.
If anybody works out just like the lames like we are, it's really hard to like, oh, you know what? I got to get like 16 more grams of protein in right now. You know?
Yeah.
I never think about that shit. But he has these egg whites in a carton.
He eats the whole thing.
How he drinks it.
Oh.
He says he's like
raw drink.
Yeah.
Oh.
He'll do like a quarter cup of it, but it has so much protein.
Yeah.
That he's just like he goes. You just got to drink it. Don't look at it. Don't pour it in a glass. He goes, just drink it straight. Yeah, you don't want to look at it. He goes, because then you won't drink it.
Yeah.
I go, why don't you make it? He goes, I don't got time for that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to sit there and warm up a pan. I can just drink it in 4 seconds, be done with it, and have everything I need.
Yeah, true.
Guess so.
True. If you have to do that every day.
If you swallow loogies, you can swallow egg whites. If you swallow cum, you can swallow egg whites. I was going to say,
I wonder why he doesn't want to look. I
always just get the egg whites on my face. I always miss.
I have a blindfold on. I can never see. Yeah,
it's warm.
I don't know that I've ever done that.
I would never do that.
Yeah, it is hard to get the right amount of protein in there. That's crazy.
Yeah,
but I don't want to get. I think the nice thing about a gym is like you go, you do the workout, you're done.
That's it.
Like you know that you did enough. You know you did what you're supposed to do. Now you leave.
And we got all day to do shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All sort of.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be lazy a little bit today. I'm trying to make Alicia I'm going to make my wife it's basically an entryway table, but for plants. So it's going to be like about, 12 inches wide by, I think I'm going to go with 8 or 9 feet in length.
Wow. That's pretty long.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's what she said. No, I'm just kidding. But I got like a 10-foot board.
Yeah.
The thing, I hate going to fucking Home Depot and looking for boards. Like, because you go and like, I don't know, fucking majority of them are split.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot.
He's like, oh, we can fill it. I'm like, what am I gonna fill that with? I see people like epoxy shit, or they'll put in like wood filler, I guess. But sometimes those splits are.
Yeah, you can do that, but like I've had to do it, and it always ends up looking gritty, even if you sand it. Some like the wood filler stuff itself.
Yeah, well, because it's like so like got like those little holes in it.
Yeah.
Got to wood fill my wood filler.
Right.
Yeah,
epoxy resin is cool. Have you seen those tables where like they have the wood? It's like walnut or something. Yeah. It's got like all the knots in it, and then they put like a blue epoxy in it or something.
It looks so easy.
Looks like mountains sticking out.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that should be looking easy to do.
There's that guy online.
But it's probably not.
He makes like horror dioramas.
What?
A horror dioramas, like fuck. Scary dioramas.
Just titties out.
It's look very at this odd. It's very weird. So there's like think of like a tiny like 5-gallon fish tank, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of like that size.
Oh, okay.
And then he'll put like a little Jaws figure in it, and he'll make the epoxy with the Jaws figure, and it's coming like up out of the water, say.
That's amazing.
And he'll use like an air gun to blow it so the water looks like waves, and he'll use like tools to make the water splash out around the shark to make it look super real. It's crazy.
Now, some of the talent that you see, like the internet can be full of like trolls and just piece of shit people. But there's
true
also
artwork.
But there's so much that's like the opposite.
Yeah.
Like you see some of the most talented things.
Yeah,
that
he
you don't,
had one.
It's beautiful.
He
stuff.
took toys of just like little action figure kind of toys.
Uh-huh.
He bought a little black model car.
Okay.
Right, and it was like probably one of those die cast.
Oh, yeah.
And then he had these action figure kind of toy guys that he altered, like he painted them differently, and then he made like these other clothes for them.
Jesus.
He built this little house that was like really creepy looking. And the way that this diorama ended up looking, it was Sam and Dean.
Oh,
and it was
Supernatural.
Baby. Is it Baby?
Baby, yeah.
And the headlights worked. He made it where the lights worked. So it looked like it was at night. There's like lights glowing from in the house. Creepy. Their headlights are on. They have guns.
Hell yeah.
They're standing on either side. Yeah, one had a shotgun. I think one had like a pistol or something like
perfect.
that. And Pennywise is a big spider.
Yeah.
From like either out through the roof or like from behind the house.
Oh,
it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That's cool.
It was so nuts. And he just like fast forward shows like him working through everything and how he made the house. Like he built this little model house and made it look like decrepit and broken down. And he's like spray painting everything to make it look dirty and old.
That's amazing.
And it was just nuts. I mean,
how many hours?
So many. And
days?
It's one of the weird facts about me. I've always liked little models and things, like little tiny versions of real life things. I don't know what it is about it.
My daughter, Cheeky, she likes, there's these like little toys, and parents out there know there's some, and I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like you can get like a Coke bottle, but they're like mini. Yeah. They're mini brand names of like, like foods and just different things, but you can buy them and they're like super small, like dollhouse size, and it'll look like
the actual brand.
Yeah, wow. It'll look like Kellogg's, like flakes. Yeah, and it'll be like a little tiny box.
And it's real.
I forget what they're called, but there's like a name for them. I'm sure
micro breakfast.
Yeah. But it's like she used to want those a lot. Just because she likes those, like it's a similar thing.
Well, she's got the same mental disorder that I have then, because I don't know what it is, but I used to like making model cars. I think it'd be so cool to build like a little model building or something.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Like the more detailed that something gets, like I think the coolest job on earth outside of teaching.
Yeah.
Right. Would
be IT. I'm just
kidding. Like what I could do. Yeah. And IT. Yeah. So cool. What I could do during summer, maybe. Those Hollywood guys that build those models that then they use to look like real scenes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because I kind of hate Hollywood uses so much CGI. So much CGI. And it's good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, some of it's really
good. And I
now.
get that there's a lot of it that you can't do. It'd be really hard to make certain things. But like there's nothing quite as great as a physical model replica that gets filmed right where it looks real. Because it is real.
Yeah. So you're like getting a skyline view of this like building that's really
really like tiny,
maybe 4-foot building.
Sometimes you'll see those videos where they're like working on a set and it's like people just walking in between these giant towers and it looks like New York City, but there's people standing in the streets like fixing something or doing like some kind of cable work. And it's like, then you see the finished product and it looks so real. Like to me, I don't know what it is about it.
I think it's amazing.
It's very nerdy. I fully am aware
How does
of that.
someone find the talent for that? Is it just, do you think it's one of those things where you see it done, like you enjoy seeing those small things? And you just try it?
Artistically, you probably work with a lot of other people. Like, there's companies that do that kind of work. So you probably look at other people's technique or whatever. Yeah. I built the World Trade Center in high school. I built a model that was probably like for an art class that was probably like this big in the base.
Oh, okay.
And so I used, at that time you just had to Google search stuff. So I like searched up what the roads looked like. It was very basic. Like I was not talented, but dude, I put the little roads in and I built what the buildings looked like before. So I had like the 2 World Trade Center towers. I had the little hotel that was between them. And then I had the other buildings that were on the site.
I'm not going to lie. That sounds detailed.
It was as detailed as I could get it. Like I found,
what'd you get?
I got a good grade on it. And the teacher's like, so why did you do this as your project? Like, because everybody had to do their own thing. And I was like, I don't know. It just that
I wanted to do
it's like a big thing. I kind of miss. I didn't know what the towers were before they fell. Now I miss them, even though I never saw them in real life.
You're like, bitch,
So
because
it's like my little way of making them. And she's like, oh, very cool. But it was kind of like, to your point, it was hard because I went to the craft stores and I found like there was this black grid that was used for like stitch work or something. And it kind of looked like the hotel outside.
Okay.
So I bought that and I put like black over that. And then I put that stuff outside to give it more of like a 3D building look.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like, I kind of got a feel for it. They had this like wrapping paper that had clear vertical lines that were gray. And I used that for the outside of the tower. But it wasn't super detailed. I mean, you look at some of these like architectural models. It's nuts. Like,
so I used to do janitor work when I lived in Seattle. Kind of like, it was actually like my ex-girlfriend's mom that did it, and so I would help, basically. So one of the buildings we did, it was an architect, like, it was one of the floors was for architecture. And so you would go in there, and there'd be, like, mock-ups of these houses. And some of the stuff, I remember I would just, like, I'd be walking around, I'd look.
I just want to touch it.
I would touch that shit all the time. It was just so cool because I used to want to be an architect.
Oh,
like
I did too.
Well, I used to want to be like an engineer to build like bridges and stuff.
Nice, yeah.
But then I realized math's.
My cousin Danielle, her dad, that's what he does. He does like the concrete overpasses and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
but so like it was really cool just to see those mock-ups of those houses.
Oh yeah,
there'd be like, they would be no more than like a 3x3.
Yeah,
right. And it just looks like the house that they're going to build. And then to be able to like scale that to an actual fucking building is remarkable.
It's nuts, right?
And then some of that architecture work you see on like big buildings, it just looks...
Oh, yeah.
Like the finishes and the... I don't know any of that shit, but... Like,
giant towers.
Yeah, just even some of like
so
the...
Crazy. Seattle has a beautiful
what is
building.
it, the bevels? What is it on the outside? It just looks like really artistic.
Some of the old buildings...
Yeah,
there's
that's
like
what I'm talking.
Smith Tower, right?
Okay.
Isn't it Smith Tower that
the white building?
It's got that little spire and part of it.
I think that used to be the biggest building.
It was for a long time. It was built in like the late 1800s or like early 1900s. It's old.
That used to be my last name. By the way,
that's right. It was. That was your building.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, the detail in that building is so cool. That's one thing that I'm sad about here. Is that we have some old buildings, but they're small.
A grain tower.
Yeah, right.
That's our biggest building.
We have like your typical 1910 downtown, like these little brick strip mall-ish buildings.
You're looking at maybe 3 stories,
and it's cool. Like those have their place, and they definitely have a nice little hometown feel. But I would love to see like a 10-story tower go up with kind of a classic, like you can use modern building materials, but with like a classic feel.
I would want the classic style look.
Yeah, like we need some old feeling buildings.
But I would want like, I don't know. Yeah, because some of those, just the designs are very, I think it's not something you see anymore. Everything's very modern and very
everything's clean. Everything's straight.
Which is cool.
And it is cool. And I like the mixture of both. But
boring.
But I mean, yeah, they used to, because it was all about so it wasn't about money completely back then. It was about showing off wealth.
So
like Smith Tower would have been owned by some guy named Smith, and he would have put on more flashy things to show off his money more.
That, or I even can see it as like it's when you see a specific building, you'd know that's Barber's building.
Yeah.
He builds those. That's his style.
Do you see all those scissors built in?
Yeah, he puts those on all his buildings.
Edward Scissorhands can be found on the corners.
Yeah, not gargoyles. He has like these scissors.
Yeah, scissor hands. It's these
gargoyles with scissors.
Well, we were in downtown Portland, remember, last spring, and there were like those murals built into the building wall, right, where they like carved into the stone like images of things. It's just neat, like, and they don't do that kind of stuff anymore.
I think that's a lost. I don't know if it's a lost art, but
they used to like hand tool carve.
So the crazy thing is somehow the algorithm on YouTube or Facebook just throws you these weird things.
Yeah, right. Like you would like this too.
Well, one of the weird things that started coming up is there's this kid. I'm going to say kid because he's probably in his mid-20s.
Okay.
I want to say he's from like Greece or somewhere, but he'll get like a piece of stone, like like marble or
Yeah.
granite or something, and then you'll see the lines of pencil drawn, and then he'll start hand carving them.
Chipping away.
And then when he's done, you just see this cool little beveled look and like this very like whimsical looking thing, and he does it all out of stone by hand,
dude.
And it just looks. I'm like, bro.
I watched the video very similar.
He does it with his shirt off. So
that's
why I want to know how this shit pops up. I'm not looking up shirtless men.
Shirtless men doing stonework.
Doing stonework. I've always had a thing.
There's something.
I know you've had a thing for models. I've had a thing for men with no shirts and stonework.
Some models. I mean, different form.
Another thing that's popped up on my algorithm is there's this barber, and I mean barber like a hair barber.
Like hair barber. Yeah.
This black gentleman that cuts hair, and it's he's cutting other black people's hair, and he does like a great work. And the way he does the videos are hilarious because he's like narrating himself as he's cutting.
Okay, like live or like
no, it's a voiceover.
Okay, gotcha.
And but there'll be cuts of him like as he's cutting this person's hair. You'll just see they'll zoom in on his eyes, and he has this like diabolical
like he's
look.
gonna do something.
Yeah, he just the way he does the videos are hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how did this come up? And then I'm just always like,
but you're watching it.
I'm like, I'm not mad though. I
All
love
right,
this.
YouTube. Clearly, you know me better than I do.
Yeah, because I'm like, I actually kind of enjoy this because then it'll clean up the hairline real nice. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I could never pull off that look either.
Yeah.
The perfect little.
Well, I know I couldn't. My hairline's too far back.
I'd be right
you'd
here.
Have to cut all this off.
Can you imagine?
I'm
gonna do that from here.
Well, that's you and me both, man. Like I just look bald.
Like how big's your forehead?
This part, right?
You got a 7 head.
Oh, man.
But, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why I'm just talking about gym shit and models, but this is kind of going off the rails a little bit. But
last week we went golfing after here.
We did.
Me and Tom, I don't know what it was. I don't feel like we had a lot to drink.
I didn't. I know.
We just had the whiskey.
Yeah.
And that's all. I'm a lightweight now, more lightweight than I was before. So I got a decent buzz that day. And I know I wasn't drinking anymore for a while, but I came back a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was not trying to get like fucking smashed. And I felt like I got pretty hammered.
Did you feel like you were?
I didn't until I did. You know what I'm saying?
Like the switch kind of deal. Yeah.
When I felt it was when I threw my club.
Gotcha.
And I was like, oh shit, I think I'm drunk.
Gotcha.
Right. So as golf is, sometimes you get a little annoying.
Yeah.
You're annoyed and drunk and not drunk. But you get a little like mad.
how golf just makes you drunk.
You know. But like for me, I wasn't hitting good shots and I let that get to me. So I got pretty drunk. I threw my club. It went a little further than I was wanting. Tom's seen it.
Yeah.
It went in the water. Miraculously, probably because I had those caps on,
which you put on that day.
Yeah. It actually made it buoyant. So the top of the handle was up.
It's so weird because I would have thought that the
weight would have brought it down.
And I would have thought that the bottom would have been more buoyant.
Yeah.
The club head.
Yeah. But anyway, this is towards the end of us golfing. We actually ended up leaving without finishing, but they were hurrying us. We were taking our time.
I think we need to not go to a big course like that. It's just too much pressure. And, for people in general is always going to take a lot of time, more time. So you've got to really be on it. And the girls just aren't there yet. It's not their fault, but it's not a lot of fun when you just feel that pressure of them breathing down your neck the whole time.
But I jump in the water to go get it. And then I didn't see it. So I get out and then Tom goes, oh, there it is. Yeah. He's like, oh shit, there it is. Cause it must have went down and went bloop.
Popped up. Yeah.
And then I jumped back in. And then we end up leaving.
Yeah. We had like 2 holes to go.
They called us. I didn't answer my phone because my phone's always on silent. So I didn't actually hear it. And then I went for a run. Never go for a run when you're buzzed, by the way. I was like, to prove that I wasn't buzzed.
You went for a run. And then halfway through, you're like, why am I running?
No, I didn't really. I knew I was kind of buzzing, but I was like coming off. I was already coming down from the buzz because I didn't let myself get to the.
Yeah, right. You weren't gone. I could tell that you weren't gone.
So I kind of ruined Alicia's experience for golfing that day, but this whole point brings up to the point that I like let my beginning bad mood kind of narrate
the rest
of my time instead of, I don't know. I think that happens in life where you're just pissed off, so you do things to like worsen it instead of
not intentionally, but yeah,
you do stuff not to like let's make this situation better.
Yeah,
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make the situation a little worse.
Yeah,
I
think you're absolutely right, and that's like when people talk about what is that? What's the word for that? Where
self?
There's like it's like mystical, like you're not your chi, but you're
like your aura kind of.
Yeah, and it's where like you give good energy and then you get good energy.
Oh, like your karma.
Karma. There we go. Like I don't look at it as some mystic thing. I look at it as we are all interacting, and the way we interact, the energy that we project through our attitude, our personality is going to
come back at
be reciprocated in one way or the other. If I scowl at somebody, they're probably not going to give me a very good
that's like
look, right?
When you're with your spouse, and sometimes they might be in a good mood, and you're for whatever reason you're not in a shitty mood.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes I don't know if you've ever noticed, but there'd be times where my mood ends up dictating my wife's mood.
Sure.
And so now she's like angry, and she's starting to see that too. Sometimes when when I'm like maybe quiet, or I'm not even necessarily in a bad mood or nothing. I'm just kind of like out of it or whatever. I'm just in my head. There'll be those days. And she's like, are you mad? I'm like, no, I'm just. And so she like will find herself getting in that mood, like getting in almost the headspace I'm in. And she's like, I need to stop letting people's emotions dictate the way I'm feeling.
Right.
Like it's not my problem. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, because like coworkers or something sometimes will piss you off, and you don't know why you're pissed at them. They don't know you're pissed at them. You're just like, fuck you. You fucking get on my nerves. Like I do that at work all the time. There's people get on my nerves, and I'm like, why am I letting their energy get to me?
Yeah.
But it's really hard because you can like you say, you throw that out there, and there'll be those times where you let your energy, like you're pissed off, and then you like throw it out towards your person or something,
mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden they're pissed, and you feel a little better. Like, like for whatever.
Thank God I got that anger out. Yeah.
Like, but you know what I'm saying though? Have you ever done that where it's like
all
of a sudden like it switches, the roles switch, and now they're pissed, and you're like, why are you so mad?
Right.
And it's because you were fucking grumpy or hungry or
hunger will definitely do that to me. I get cranky when I'm hungry.
Dude, when I'm hangry, bruh.
Yeah.
If Alicia and we're shopping, she knows. She brings snacks now in the car for me. Like I'm a fucking
here's your Snickers.
For real. She'll be like, all right, here.
You get your baggie of cereal.
I'm like,
yeah, sure.
Where's my juice box?
Yeah. All right, next door.
I feel better. Yeah. I got that energy. I don't know. Sometimes those bad moods,
I hear you.
I don't know if you've ever done that where your bad mood kind of like...
never.
You're in a bad mood and you don't do anything to like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a step back. I'm just...
Yeah, I think when I was at my worst was when I, like, being really stressed at a job. Like I think maybe other people have experienced this. If you're at a job that you either don't feel confident in, or you just feel, really, really stressed about. I was always kind of like on a hair trigger where I'm still just mentally there and kind of processing what the next day is going to look like. And so when I was in that kind of, headspace environment, I was definitely cranky a lot
more,
not even really mentally present. And what I do now, it was stressful when I first started because it was, I was still teaching, but it was new.
Yeah, of course.
So I had to figure some things out again. But having done it now, I've been teaching first grade now this is my 6th year.
For a millennia.
And, I feel pretty decent at what I do. And I am really, really enjoying it. So my whole headspace is generally different. I think I have to feel like I do a good job at work to feel like everything else is good, I don't know why for me that is, but like performing well, feeling like I contribute to the group. Yeah. That's really important to me. And so with that in place, I feel a lot more present at home. Like I can be home and I can compartmentalize now and be like, all right, I'm at work. bam, 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 getting all this stuff done, teach.
Now I'm home.
Then I'm home and I can stop and be like, all right, I'll get back to that tomorrow. Because I have that sense of confidence that what we did today was good and we can pick it back up again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm not as irritable as I once was.
Yeah, I'm working on that side for me because so I work from home most of the time.
Yeah.
So I already get stressed with work because just my situation with I just always feel like I'm doing a good job, but I don't, I always get pointed out this stuff I don't do. Right. And so it's really hard to be like, okay,
actually, and see,
it makes me like when I have my one-on-ones with my boss or something, the day before, I'm already kind of like stressing out.
Yeah.
And I'm already thinking, what's he fucking going to say? It's
right.
going to be bad. So in my head, I play out these scenarios.
Well, how does that not put you in a bad mood?
And so then,
how does it not impact your overall mental health and your,
Yeah. And so like, I'll put myself in these moods. And then when I come to the one-on-one, it's 9 out of 10 times, it's a fine. Right. But it's always my head that thinks, oh, it's going to be bad.
Right.
Or work just stresses me out. Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. So I can get where you're going when your previous job where you were like a lot more at a higher stress level.
And I worked with great people and I worked with great kids. Just some of the issues that would come up and the things I was responsible for were for my personality type that overanalyzes and stresses and always wants everything to be perfect and doesn't ever want to make a mistake.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I just wasn't good with the amount of pressure that I put on myself.
Yeah.
I had very supportive people in the building. I had a great group that I worked with. And again, great kids. It's just that I thought it was going to be a good fit for me and it just wasn't. It wasn't the right fit.
Yeah,
what I'm doing now.
That kind of happens.
Now I can step into not a leadership role because, I'm not like a leader, but we have a lot of change going on right now with what our district is doing. It's doing some really good work, but change is hard. A lot of people struggle,
no matter
to get the confidence in change. And so I feel really good this year. I don't know why. I probably shouldn't because we're all in change, but I kind of feel like I'm in a position to try to help other people or to try to at least just be a sounding board.
You've probably been a part of different changes throughout the years you teach. So for you, it's like, I know this feeling. I know I'm not going to stress myself out or, let me just roll with it.
Well, and that builds me like that. I don't get energy from like being in a room full of people. Uh-huh. If I'm in a room full of like a bunch of unknown people, it does kind of like drain me over time. But if I'm with my people that I know, and it's my group and I care about these people.
Oh, yeah.
I get energy by checking in with them and asking them how they're doing and trying to hear everybody out. Yeah. The hard part is I'm like, we've talked before about being people pleasers or like, I'm not necessarily a people pleaser because there is the point where I'm like, I can't make you happy, but I always want to find that common ground, that middle point.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Not everybody's interested in that. And so like, it's not my job to do that, but anytime you're working with people,
it's hard not
different viewpoints. My natural brain is always to try to find a place where everybody kind of gets a little bit of what they want.
Yeah.
And
that's probably, and that's tough to do because like you said, you can't please everyone.
You can't. And so luckily I'm not in a position where I actually have to do that. Because I sometimes think, I'd want to be an administrator. I'd want to try something different. But then I'm like,
I know.
I don't know.
I supervise, and when like you just said, when you're with your people, you get that good energy.
Yeah, right.
Like so when I'm with my techs and I'm out doing site visits or I'm out just helping them. When I do site visits, I always let them know, hey, because I can tell some of them, they're like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, hey, I'm here to help you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not here to do anything else. Yeah, you're going to see me scanning some of the inventory just to check that stuff, spot checking here and there. But I go, overall, I'm just here to help, man. Just do what you do. I don't care, don't change the way you're working.
Because I'm here. Right.
Let's just do what you do, man. I'll follow. I'm your shadow. Like I'm here to help out.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of times people just see me I'll show up at the clinic with the tech, and they're like, I'm just there.
Yeah.
And then I'll but when I'm there, I just feel so much more energy. It feels good because this is where I feel like this is where I belong.
Because you love that kind of work.
Yeah,
right?
I love interact. As much as of an introvert as I can be, I like to interact with people.
Yeah.
I'll joke around, but then at the end of the day, obviously, I like to just
chill out. Yeah.
Because introverts aren't all necessarily
antisocial.
We just don't like to be in social situations
all the time,
all day.
And I think the big difference is like, do you get energized by a large crowd of people that you don't know?
Yeah.
Or does it take your energy away?
Yeah.
And for me, it kind of drains my energy.
Same here.
If I go to even like a concert and everyone's like, I'm going to be tired after a while. But.
Well, like I had mentioned, like when I see people outside of work, it's like,
oh yeah,
it's like, fuck. But in a large crowd, I'm not, when we do our like big meetings, I sit with my team. I hardly interact with other people there. Like, it sounds fucked up because I don't care. It's not that I don't care about them, but
you just don't know them.
I don't care. There's a few people from different teams that I like their energy, so I'll say hi to them.
Yeah, right.
Or they'll come to me like and just hey Jesse, how you doing?
Yeah.
Like this last meeting we had, they did a breakfast, right? Well, I'm sitting at the table. Well, they put chairs on the other side of the table. And I was like,
oh, so you can...
I don't want to see people fucking sitting here because we're all supposed to look forward during the meeting. But they have these chairs, so when we eat, we can have, other people can sit at the table.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, no one's going to, I'm sitting next to the, a couple people that I talked to. And then all of a sudden, one of the guys sits there. And I was like, fuck. Like, son of a bitch. And he's cool. His name's Matt. He's actually a cool guy. He's into guitars and stuff. So
nice.
he says during meetings, he'll like cut off, if it's a big meeting, he'll cut off his camera and he'll just jam out. Because he says that if he doesn't do that, he won't pay attention.
So it helps him listen. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But they're sitting there eating in front of me, and I don't like seeing people eat sometimes. Like not necessarily like.
Say sorry, bro.
No, that's what I mean. It's just
you got to watch me eat this morning.
No, so I don't mind like people I know, obviously, but like I don't know, just something like, and it's a lot closer proximity. Like the tables aren't very wide.
So they're just like your little. I know what you're talking about. They're not like a dining table.
I feel
like your little like.
I felt
workroom
more
table.
enclosed.
Yeah.
I need elbow room. It's like sitting in a lunchroom at work or at school.
Right.
You got everyone there. I hated that shit.
Yeah.
I made my ex-girlfriend back in the day sit somewhere else because I didn't want her next to me. This is a true story.
I can't imagine Jesse Barber doing that. Jesse Smith. That was Jesse Smith. That was a different man. You were a different man.
There's this girl. What was her name? Amanda or something.
Wow.
I dated her for... It was probably maybe a month.
I wonder whatever happened.
I was like 9th, 10th grade. Yeah. I told her to sit somewhere else. I don't know. I think I've said this before.
I think you have. Yeah.
But that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I didn't have a girlfriend at my high school. She went to a different high school.
But I mean, I don't know. That's crazy. But I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that story.
Luckily, I really like the people I work with.
And I do. I love the people I work with.
Yeah, and it's so... everybody that is in the building I work in, I know really well. And I've worked at enough places or people have come and gone from those places that I feel like I know a good amount of people, throughout our district where I work. And it is kind of neat to go to trainings and stuff and run into people that you know.
Yeah.
Or there's a few people that I worked with long enough where you really want to catch up and know how things are going. Like, how are things in your building? What are you guys doing? Like, what's happening? And so that's always kind of nice. It's like... it's weird when I walk in a room and there's a ton of people I've never seen before.
Oh, bro.
It's like, because we're more broken into those grade levels. So all elementary schools tend to go to one place.
Clicked up with the first grade teachers. It's
not even really like a click. It's just the way that you get chunked together. Like, we're going to give information for elementary stuff. So all us elementary folks go one place to get that. So you see a lot of those other
elementary versus middle school.
Yeah, but then you got, your middle schoolers, they need something different. So they're going to go, the teachers are going to go get a different message somewhere else. So you don't always interact with people that way.
One of my buddies, Chris, he's a middle school teacher in the Pasco School District.
Yeah.
And I can tell his teaching style is a lot more different than yours.
Oh, it has to be.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's more like, hey, you're fucking up. You know what I mean?
Not in those words, but
no, but like he's pretty like direct with
you know,
his
and
students.
sometimes you know, even with the little guys, you do have to be direct sometimes.
Yeah.
But you also have to balance that out with
That's kids.
little feelings and emotions. You know, with first graders, the funny thing is they're just sweet. They're still happy. They love
it.
everybody. Even if they're, you know, even if they have issues with people, like they generally are just happy little
My son,
creatures.
he's in 5th grade now. You know, Elliot as well.
Yep.
But this year's just been, not that he's doing great in school. It's just his motivation to be schooling seems to be less.
Often from his normal.
Like, I gotta go to school. Like all
See, Elliot
year.
was always more like that. This year, I feel like he's doing okay.
He's like, this year, JJ's more like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I go, but you know what? There's going to become, what was it? It was like on the 24th or something. I was like, just remember on September 24th, yo daddy told you that there's going to come a time in your life where you're going to wish you were back in school.
Oh, for sure.
You're going to be working and be like, God damn it.
Like, wait, all I had to do was sit there and learn.
Can I
it
go
was
back to
somebody
that?
else's job.
I don't got to stress about bills, kids. Granted, I love, you know, my family and I love working and stuff, but like those stresses are there. It's not like you're stressing like my
But
kids
life
are
does
crazy,
not
but
get easier.
No.
And having your own kids and worrying about your own kids
that's
is
more
a
worry.
whole
I guess
nother level
I guess
of stress.
Stressing sounds like your kids are crazy.
No,
I
but
worry about my kids.
You
I
want
guess.
your kids to end up okay. And when they get to the age group, our boys are just about to enter. Elena is just kind of
coming in.
I feel like she's kind of coming out of that a little bit.
She is.
You know, but which actually brings me to another.
It stresses me out. Her grades actually been stressing me out lately.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check them again. Are they?
Her math, you know, she's missing probably everything in math. So I'm like, I get stressed out when I see that stuff. So being like a parent is kind of stressful in the sense that you're like, because you don't want your kids to fail,
right?
And you know they're smart enough to do.
Oh,
things.
she's absolutely smart enough. Yeah.
So it's like, all right, I need you to.
Yeah.
We've gone through this.
Right.
Let's keep doing it.
Well, I just tell her flat out. So for those of you that don't know, Elena's at their house one week, and then she comes to our house for a week. Earthquake.
What was that?
I don't know. Was somebody running?
Fucking sound like an earthquake. Sorry, guys. But yeah, my daughter's here once a week, and then she goes over there.
Yeah, so it's like 1 week on, 1 week off kind of a deal.
Yeah.
So I usually am I've tried to start this year really positive with her, like, hey, you know, I'm going to check with you every day. I'm not trying to be annoying. Just we know that you've got a pattern sometimes of letting these things go. And it feels really good to stay on top of it. So we're just going to stay on top of it. And when I notice things are missing, we have that little conversation. It's like, all right, so what are we going to do? We have a plan. This is what we've always done.
Yeah.
You're going to figure it out. Talk to that teacher, get those things turned in, and I'll look tomorrow and let's pick it up from there. And she needs that right now at this age. That's the part for her that she needs. I don't have to get mad at her anymore. I used to get mad and be like, this is not okay. And it just is like,
yeah,
you obviously don't know how to do this. Like, you need us to constantly be watching and making sure that you're doing it. So
like for me growing up, I kind of wish I actually had that push where it was like, I know my mom would say she was going to, hey, look, do you got homework? And I would just say no, right?
Yeah, it was like the routine. Do you have homework? No. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of a deal, yeah.
And like you never got that push, like, and there'd be those times where my mom just decided to look at my homework, or she'd be like, "Your handwriting sloppy, do it all over again." And I'm like, "Fuck." You know what? Your handwriting sloppy too. I get it from you.
Run away.
No,
Oh, man.
But like, I think it's important for us to do that to show you, because you're showing your kids how to deal with tasks when they're getting older. In a sense. It's just math right now.
That's my biggest.
It's a task. You're gonna come into life. You're gonna get work. You're gonna have stuff to do. Instead of procrastinating, which I'm a professional procrastinator, you actually have, okay, these are due on these days. I got to get this going. Like, I don't know. It puts you in that mindset.
Absolutely.
And you got to be taught that.
That's the thing that it's always been my driving force with this kind of stuff is if you don't learn at those ages to get your homework done, to turn your assignments in, those skills are another set of skills. Like we've talked about that with like social emotional stuff.
The intangibles.
We, in our time growing up, those things were just not necessarily taught. They were expected. And most people figure it out, right? Without being explicitly taught. But it's not a given that everyone's going to figure that out.
Dude, it took me 40 years to figure things out.
Yeah, I mean, because most of us, like I used to be a horrible procrastinator. Up even into college. I would always get my work done, and I always got decent grades. But I mean, in high school, I would not do anything until I absolutely had to. And I got finally, especially when I began working, and I felt like I can't screw this up. Like I can't get an F. I got to do a good job here,
or I'm gonna get fired.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills, and so I've really overcome that. I really get ahead of things the best I can. There's always times where I mean, there's a lot to do, so there are times I can't get to everything right away. But learning how to prioritize those tasks, learning what has to be done, and getting ahead of it enough, I've become pretty good at overall. And I'm so much less stressed than I used to be.
See, and I feel stressed because I'm like, I get these tasks that I need to get done. And so instead, like, I think what brings on my procrastination is the task. And I think this happens to a lot of even kids is you see, it's going to be hard, or I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I don't even know where to start.
Kind of a fear drive.
And so you're like, fuck it. I'll just wait.
Right.
And then obviously it's like, oh shit. Fuck, I got to do this now. This is due tomorrow, or this is due today.
And I still don't know how to do it, and I just have to throw it together.
Yeah. So, and so I get myself. Oh shit! I almost knocked that out. So I get myself stressed out, and I stress out constantly. Where I'm, I already have a fear of being fired. It's there every day. I think I'm going to get fired. I don't know why. It's just a fear. That's why I don't take time off. That's why I don't do that stuff, because I'm like, I'm probably going to get fired if I ask for a day off. But for me, like I've been working towards, okay, I got these due dates. Let me see if I can get these done a couple days earlier than the due date. Or it's not, for me, it's not a crazy change yet, but like it's a slow change right now where I'm like, okay, let me get these in, because because my boss is expecting these things to be done. Like there was something that was due like in a week and a half, and he's like, this gotta be done. And I'm like, bruh, I'm out here in the streets of Yakima or wherever doing site visits. I ain't got time to do this shit. So now it's one of those things, okay, I know I gotta do site visits, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take this date, and that's gonna be my off day for doing site visits, so I can work on
do the paperwork side.
And so that's what I've been trying to do is like
schedule it out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not a skill I was learned in high school or something.
You taught yourself.
Yeah, let me just do this.
I've had to do that as well. You have to get really good at using your time, and once you develop sort of a pattern of a routine, you become way more efficient.
And I don't know if it's been going to the gym that's helping me get there.
Good.
Getting back to being a gym bro. But no, but you know what I mean? Like just get me in that mindset.
Getting into the routine.
But
exercising does release endorphins.
Because like my stress levels haven't been as crazy as they've been. That's good. Where I'm just like, I'm constantly, I've always lived in a constant state of fear. Like I'm afraid that I'm going to get fired. I'm afraid I'm going to do the wrong thing, or I'm doing something wrong, or I'm going to make this person upset, or when I get pointed out something I didn't do right, like I used to dwell on that like hard, because I'm very, and most of us are very hard on ourselves.
And
but I'm just like, I can let that, I can get in a downward spiral.
Me too.
Just like, that's going back to those bad moods. Like those don't help the situation.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, you know what? All right. Yeah, I'll do that. And then a lot of times I'm just like, I bum myself out, and then all of a sudden I just kind of like would just, I'm just going to go sit down and dwell. And then hours would go by and it's like, fuck, I need to get this done. Right. Whatever, you know.
Well, one of the biggest compliments I've been given by the principal I work with, you know, I didn't feel great about myself when I first started teaching first grade. There was a lot to figure out, you know, new grade level of kids and just how there's some things that I really needed to tighten up that first year and figure out how to do it well. And so I did not feel great about myself. But after a couple of years of doing it and getting, you know, listening and watching and observing and perfecting, if you will, although I don't think I'm still perfect. I don't think you ever really get perfect.
No, you don't. You just learn.
You know, just improving. When I've done my reviews with my principal, one of the compliments she's given me is that I am always so willing to hear advice or ideas and then to like try them out and implement them, like being open to new information.
I think that's important.
And I really appreciate that comment because it's, you know, I've had to be. I could either put up a wall and be like, nope, I'm great, knowing I'm not. Or I've always craved like, because I don't have a lot of self-confidence.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm not the type of person that walks in a building and I'm like, this is all wrong. I could turn this place around. I look to other people and be like, okay, how do they do it here? What's the culture here? What? Yeah. Because, again, my personality, I don't fight people.
No,
I try to find...
I think me and you are similar in that sense.
And so it's like, the tricky part is taking that perspective that I have and finding the right way
to make a change,
to help, right? Where you're actually guiding people in a good way, where it's maybe against what they want, you know, in the short term.
That is a hard thing to do.
But you make people feel uplifted and you're helping them move in that direction. Like I'm trying I'm taking that on as like a personal challenge this year to try to figure out how to do that without just being like,
I think like for me, going back to me, no, I'm just kidding. But
we love you, Jesse. We love you. Go for it.
For my team and for what we do, there's a lack of appreciation, right? We usually get the shit end of the stick. We usually get the angry customers because something didn't work, and it's not necessarily because of us. Yeah, you know, most of the time it isn't because of us. But we always get the angry person, or we do this, or we got to do this other thing for another team or do this, but there's never that appreciation. So for me, what I try to do with my team is, you know, I give them my appreciation. I'm like, hey guys, you know, you're doing a great job. I really appreciate the work you guys are doing. Just know that, you know, you guys are keeping up on things. I know we don't get that. And so being able to get that appreciation,
you give them the recognition of,
I can see that kind of like will motivate some of them where they're like,
absolutely.
You know, it's not necessarily where they're like, yeah, but you can, you know, they appreciate that, the fact that it's like, no, I see what you're doing. I think you guys are doing a great job. Just know you're doing a good job. Right. I know we got a million other things to do, and people are always like, this needs to be done. This needs to be done. This needs to be done. But it's like, you know, for me, it's like an appreciation thing. I need to show them the appreciation, and I sometimes need that reflected back at me, like where, you know, my boss might appreciate things I do. And for me, like when I don't get that, like I really feel like you know, cause I don't know what I'm doing right.
Well, you know, that's real. What you're talking about in the educational world and in the human like development world, they talk about there's a minimum of 3 to 1 and more, it's like a 7 to 1 ratio of positive to negative. Okay. The feedback that people respond to the most is actually positive. People need to know what to do, what is expected. And when you give the positive feedback, you're reinforcing those choices that they're making that is correct. Yeah. And then when you need to make a correction or you need to say, hey, this is a little lower than we want to see it, let's look at this area and improve it. People are open to hearing that because you've built them up when they needed it. So now they can hear and they know you're coming from a place of trust. Yeah. And a place of camaraderie to say, hey, you know, numbers are low. We need to really hit this hard. Yeah. So, you know, Ted Lasso that stuff a little bit. You know?
And that's what I try to do. And then, like, for me, it's kind of like I think I manage differently than the rest of the managers. The only other person that I think manages similar to me would be my friend Nick. And the only reason I probably manage the way I do is because he was my manager.
From him, sure.
And I just see how he is. He's very good about letting you know like you're doing a good job, but also if you're fucking up or something, he does it in a way where he comes from a place of like he means well. Yeah, he's not coming a
because
place
you
of
trust
pissed
him.
up.
You trust
he's
him.
like and he says things in a nice way where he's like, you're slacking. We need to really step up in this area.
Yeah.
Like whereas for me, I get I think I'm doing well, and then all of a sudden it's like these are all the things that you've been fucking up on, and then I'm like, bruh, like, why didn't you tell me this when I was doing this or whatever? Like, and it makes me want to fight.
Well, and truly,
I just want to fight a motherfucker.
Truly, like you do need to know. Everybody, that's the thing about communication, and I'm not saying I'm good at these things.
Oh yeah,
things have to be clear and like precise.
Yeah.
You know, like if you expect something, you have to lay out exactly what you're looking for. If it's clear as mud, you're not going to get what you're asking for.
And the thing for me, I don't like is being compared to, you know, and I think my kids are the same way, or just kids in general.
Sure.
Why do you compare me to my big brother or my big sister?
People like to be compared when you're the one winning. People don't tend to like it when you're not winning. So,
hey, I always get your other peers don't do that. Right. Well, your other people don't. Well, that's them. Fuck them. I don't give a fuck.
But also, if I'm not doing something that you want to see and you recognize that as my leader, then be the leader and step in and say, hey, I want to talk to you about this because I'm noticing that we're not quite where we want to be. Yeah. So what do you need from me? Like, what's going to help?
So one of the things I had mentioned to my boss back when he took over as my boss was I was like, just tell me like it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? If I'm messing up, I need to know I'm messing up.
Because I'll fix it.
You know, right. I'll take it. I'm not afraid to be accountable. I think one of my strongest things is I'm very accountable. If I fuck up, I'll take ownership of that. Yeah. If my team fucks up, I'll take ownership. You know, I bring it on my team to be like, you know what? No, that's on me. I should have pushed them, or I should have done this, or I should have done that. Yeah. That's my fault. But when it all gets thrown at you, you're just like, why? Where did this come from, bro? Right. Like, why now? Why now? Fuck you.
It's already falling apart.
I'm gonna run away. But I don't know.
No.
I don't know. That appreciation thing, I think that's a huge factor. But like, and another thing is like, you can't compare one job to someone else's job. Because I manage a team that works differently than this team. You know what I'm saying?
The nature of the work is different.
It's different. It's like night and day, really. Right. You know, I'm very customer facing, very with the customers. We know what they want a lot more. Right. These other teams think they know what they want.
But they're not.
But they never come to us and tell us. They just make these weird changes where it's all of a sudden the customer's like, how come I can't do that? Well, can we get that fixed? Well, I tried, but they said
they don't necessarily
they don't want to do that because
how laymen are going to
they think they can just do that. I'm like, I get it, but you're making their work harder because of this change. Right. But they don't see that. Right. And then when you say that, they're like, I need the data. And I'm like, you need to talk to the customers. It's a lot easier there's certain things you just can't show in
data's
numbers.
Great.
Data's data.
For certain things. But I mean,
there's certain things you can't just put on.
Maybe.
Oh, man.
Maybe they should, when they're going to do a big update like that, they should do like a trial office and then survey that office to see how they
trial office. The worst office, which is IS. IS don't give a fuck.
Well, an IS knows how to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the problem.
That's the trial.
You can't trial with people that are good at computers. You need to trial in a basic office where people aren't computer experts, where they're doctors and nurses. That's the reality. Saying. And then you get real survey data to say, was this better for you or worse? Why are you going to implement something that's worse? That's your data right there.
Nah.
And that's the thing about data. Like, education these days is very data driven. Like, very data driven. Your data systems need to be clear, and they need to be. You can't. I don't know. I mean, what is the data? What data are they looking for? The metric has to be universal. Yeah. And so,
I don't know. Data. Fuck data.
Again,
I have to use a lot of data.
If I were in charge, damn it, I would roll out to one building with normal people, survey them after a week and say, what do you think? Is this better? And then if it's not, go back to the drawing board and be
what can we change?
We either need to train people in these changes before we implement it, or knowing that we probably don't have the resources to do that, just because I hate software updates.
The one
where
thing
all of a sudden weird little things change.
They do that when me and Tom will be updating our podcast. Yeah.
The formatting, leave buttons where they are. I've learned where they are. I get to you, computer guy. It's probably more efficient this way. I don't care. I know where the button is.
It was efficient for me the other way.
Leave it alone. I'm not going to relearn it. I am, because I have to do it, but
it makes it more. It makes it less efficient sometimes.
Well, because when that's not your job. When your job is like you're a doctor. My job is to look at sick people and fix them.
Yeah.
I don't want. My brain knows where that button is because it's not what I do. I do this and then I click that and then you move the button and now my brain power is going to this.
Well, see, and
you know what I'm saying.
And it's funny that you say that because that's literally stuff that's happened.
And that's the problem is like you've got to look at it from a perspective of a layman that doesn't know.
Yeah, because they cleaned up. The thing is, they cleaned up these shortcuts and now we have this folder called My Apps, right? So you open that.
I almost thought you said something else, but
My ass. So we used to have a shortcut to clock in, right? Yeah. So my team, you click on this link, boom, it pops up, you clock in. Now you open this My Apps folder, click. Now you go back in. As you wait for that window to open, it pops up. And then you go into the My Apps folder, and then you click on that shortcut.
So why is that more efficient?
It's more efficient because it looks cleaner on the desktop.
Who cares?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. And they're just like, well, no, let's just clean. I'm like, can we just get these shortcuts back? It makes it easier. I hear from the customers how annoying it is to have to click because now for them, people might not notice, but like in the clinic environment, I mean, it's right. So now they have to spend that extra 30 seconds, 40 seconds to open things. To get it. That might not seem a lot, but over time, it's a very annoying.
It is. I know from what I have to open, and there's certain things that people should be given some level of autonomy over.
Yeah.
So we're using the terms tight and loose a lot in the work that we're doing. Like tight are things that are mandated to everybody. This is what we are doing. Loose are the things that you don't really care as much about.
Yeah.
I hate the feeling of being micromanaged. Yeah. I want to be given the tools I need and the direction I need to know where I need to go.
Yeah.
Make it clear and give me the direction. But then outside of that, I love having my little tabs up that I can just click.
Yeah.
If somebody took that away from me and I had 3 steps instead of 1, I would be livid because already in the morning, if I come in an hour early to make sure everything's ready to go for the day because I don't like hiccups. I don't like things going wrong. It helps me feel good. I'd rather give that time away than not give it away and be in a rush. But there are mornings where you got a meeting or whatever and you didn't get those open and now kids are coming in and you're trying to get them open and they're talking to you because they're 6.
You're like red
and they're all excited and they're happy. They want to talk to you and you're trying to get everything open and it's so stupid. That's the point.
Yeah.
It's stupid stuff. It's not a lot of brain power, but trying to make sure you get that open and don't forget to do it when you've got kids. I did this last night. Oh, that's great. Why isn't it working?
For sure.
I can't do 2 things well at once. Even something that stupid.
I can't.
Anyway.
I always have to tell the kids, hey, I'm listening. I know it doesn't
quiet time.
I know it doesn't seem like I'm listening, but I'm trying to get this over here done real quick. So I'm listening, keep talking. I am listening.
Right. Well, and I had ADD as a kid. And one of the things I taught myself to deal with it was to be very purposeful with my time. And I don't put things off.
Yeah.
For example, if I'm grading a bunch of papers or if I'm in the middle of something, I want to finish it. Typically, sometimes I'll stop.
Yeah.
My brain just works in work mode, break mode, work mode. And once I'm in work mode, I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
I get into because I can still feel that procrastination feeling of I'm just not ready yet.
Well,
but once I'm in work mode too, I could work all day.
Yeah.
and not break, you know?
That's like when I'm outside doing work for the house or doing something like that. I can be in that zone and I'll be out there all day.
Oh, yeah.
The moment I have to like take a break to, I don't know, come eat dinner, that motivation is gone. I'm like, I don't, because then your body's like, I don't want to fucking
Right, that was my problem with ADD as a kid. I had such a fear of people seeing the ADD. I felt like it was a stupidity thing or like something wrong with me. That's kind of the way I perceived it. Even though it's not. But that's how I felt. So I wanted to hide it. I told friends that I had a heart condition. That's why I had to go take a pill at school. Because of my heart. Because that's better than being stupid.
Goddamn, we can't even play ball with this
the way
guy.
I looked at it was I'd rather them think my heart's bad than them to think I'm stupid. So I go and take this like pill, and I don't even know if that helped because I never felt any different. But I definitely developed techniques for like though. Now I can make myself listen for a long time. I tell my kids all the time, you can make yourself interested in anything. Like if you keep listening and you train your brain to focus and you're open to letting information be interesting. I don't care how boring the topic is. You can get your brain into that zone where you engage it and you get interested in it.
I need to do that because
you can do it.
There's like it's funny you say that because I know Alicia the other day. I'm telling her I'm reading through this email chain at work, and it's not like it's not important. It has to do with our ticketing system changing and stuff. But the language in it and all that is very boring.
Technical kind of.
Yeah, and I feel real stupid. I'm in IS and doing that, but like when it comes to that kind of stuff, like I struggle there. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm reading it, I'm like, oh my god, it's boring. And I'm like, and I'm telling Lisa, like, that's so hard to pay attention.
Yeah,
I was like, I know it's important, so I need to read this. Mm-hmm. So I have to read it a couple times because I'm like, I got it to see if because I can't, like they're asking like if you have questions or you think of a change. Like for me, I'm just like, okay, it seems straightforward. Like I don't have any questions, and then I'll see like other people post questions, and I'm like, God, man, I wish I had that like analytical like brain.
Mine's I ask a lot of questions.
I don't ask a lot of questions. Yeah. There'll be every now and then a question in my head will pop up. And it's weird because we tell our kids this, right? If you have a question, there's probably other people there with the same question to ask your teacher, right? Don't be afraid to ask your teacher. I don't do that. Yeah. I'll have a question in my head and I'll just kind of keep it there because I think when I'm going to say something, it's going to be stupid. Because there's been times where I've had these questions. Well, Jesse, blah, 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 gets pointed out to me, and I'm like, bro. I
had some really stupid thoughts. I remember in elementary school one time, I was in this class, and I raised my hand. It was about the sun and the earth.
Okay.
And how the sun actually revolves around the earth. I'm like, okay. I'm talking like 4th grade, bro. Yeah. And I had this brain fart. You know when your brain stops working for a second?
A second, yeah.
And I'm like, but I can see the sun go through the earth every day. And I raised my hand. I was a flat earther there for about 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I raised my hand. Thank God the teacher did not call on me. Because I'm just sitting there like, wait, like, no. The sun goes through the earth.
Oh,
I watch it
that
daily on the daily earth sun. Okay, I'm like my hand is up for a good 3 minutes. By the grace of God, she did not call on me, and I swear to you, we went out to recess, and I had like a cold sweat all of a sudden. Like, oh my God, you idiot! I know that the sun does not go through Earth. But it's like my brain will still to this day do that kind of thing where I will forget the most basic thing.
That's normal.
And I'm like, what?
I can see that as a kid though.
Oh my God. It was so embarrassing. Luckily nobody knew.
You know, the most embarrassing thing I ever did in grade school one time was the teacher was asking for money or something. And I might have mentioned this before, but I was probably in like 2nd, 3rd grade, and I raised my hand, and because we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so we used to have food stamps, and if those older folks know, food stamps weren't a card; they used to be little dollar bills and shit. Right? Yeah, they were like little mini. It was like Monopoly money.
Sure,
right? They came in a booklet, but I raised my hand, and I go. And the most serious question, could we pay for that in food stamps?
But second grade?
Bro? Like, it was like third
7.
grade. I was like probably third grade, I'm going to say.
Okay, you're 8.
Because it's a memory I remember.
Did your teacher offer to pay for it?
No, the fucking class lost it. Everyone's laughing at me, and I'm like, fuck, what an idiot.
He doesn't have money.
He's so stupid.
That's so funny. That's hysterical.
But yeah, like, it was like...
But I get being an 8-year-old.
But it gets you that hot...
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I remember getting hot and just feeling embarrassed and just like...
Why did your teacher handle that?
I don't remember. I just remember where I was.
She looked at you. No.
No, yeah.
She didn't even make it better.
Poor little Mexican boy.
Wow. Everybody
eat a tortilla.
Point and laugh at Jesse. Boys and girls. Susie, you're not laughing hard
She's
enough.
like, you're better off paying in pinto beans. And I'm like, you bitch. Fuck you. I don't eat those.
God, I'm sorry, bro. That is cruel. That's vicious.
But yeah, that's all I remember is like the class laughing. And I don't know if people thought I was trying to be funny, but I remember I was like a dead serious question. Like, I don't have money. Can I use food stamps to pay for this? And it's like, no.
And your brain immediately was like, never mention food stamps again.
Yeah. As I say food stamps, they're like, it's for food. But like, come on, lady, you can get yourself some meat. Look, you can get yourself some chicken or something.
I can get you an entire food stamp book.
Yeah,
for that $3.
It might cost $5, but I got $5 in food stamps. You know what you can get with that?
Yeah, right. You can get cheese and meat.
You can get a whole meal. You get mac and cheese, a little smokies.
Do you take McDonald's coupons in lieu of payment? I mean, you know.
I'm trying to wheel and deal over here, bitch.
That's so sad.
Dude, those food stamps were the shit back in the day.
Yeah.
I think it was just probably embarrassing for people, and that's why they went to card, or it was just a money thing.
I think it's because they don't have to print them. Yeah. They just load it on a card.
But it was like, man. Yeah, I remember finding those. Like, my mom throw that shit away. I have like, I would always go through the garbage real quick, and I'd see like $1 left inside one of those books.
Throw money away?
She didn't know. She'd forget or something. Oh. But there'd be like, I'd go in there, there'd be like $1, maybe $2. And
so you just save them all, and then
I would take one, and I'd fucking go to 7-Eleven.
Sure.
Because it was just down the street, and I'd go there, and I'd get fucking. Back then, it had the penny candies. You guys remember those penny candies?
You get 100.
I'd have a little paper bag full of candy. Oh, dude, that shit was the best. It was like striking gold back then.
Look at you. All those kids can laugh all they want. Only Jesse Smith was down there.
I was making it rain. I was making it rain. Food stamps, baby.
We call him Penny Candy. Penny Candy Smith over there.
Yeah, dude.
At the 7-Eleven.
It was like the Tootsie Rolls, the like Jolly Ranchers. Wow. Those ones were the penny candies.
Nice.
Yeah, that shit are like 10 for like 10 cents, which is a penny candy, right?
It was like 5 for 5 cents, 10 for 10 cents.
Dude, it was money.
The more you buy.
I didn't say I was smart. Being a werewolf, I'm not that smart.
You know, and
I was telling JJ that story.
I love that story.
But yeah.
I'm going to shift gears a tiny bit. We were talking earlier about the kids, and I had kind of a cool experience the other day. We got Elena's picture, right?
Yeah.
And her school picture. So every year you get a very similar structured photo, right?
Yeah.
Basically, the kid sits the same way. They just get a year older, right? So all of Elena's kid pictures are in the same frame at home.
That same year, yeah.
And so, like, I always write on the back her grade, her age, what school she's at.
Yeah, Alicia does the same shit.
Okay. I'm the mom at our house.
That's crazy, yeah.
So anyway, and I'll take a minute to start flipping through the old pictures because it's just crazy to see your kids grow up.
You see that change.
You know, and I was interested in hers because she's cut her hair real short, you know, like a lot of teenagers. She's just going through kind of a phase of changing like who she is and how she looks and all that. And like the short hairdo, not my favorite. No. But I was always supportive of her doing it.
Yeah.
Like if it made her
I'm
feel
the same
happy.
way.
And I'm looking at these pictures of her as this little, you know, 5-year-old, little kindergarten picture with the little tears in her eyes because she had that tear duct issue.
Yeah.
And she's happy. And then first grade, happy. Second grade, happy. Third grade, happy. Fourth grade, less of a smile. Fifth grade, less of a smile. Sixth grade, no smile. Seventh grade, no smile. Eighth grade, kind of happy. Now we are ninth grade, short hair, a little bit more of a smile. This year, big smile. I'm like, you know, we talk about data. We talked about data earlier, right?
What were they going through?
You want to talk data points?
Yeah.
We have a snapshot data point of year after year after year of this kid's life, and you can watch it like a graph. Happy, sad, and guess what that bar is starting to do?
Yeah.
It's starting to come back. So I'm like, if we look at that as a data point, whether we love everything about what our kids do when they're teenagers, and there's a lot of stuff these days, these modern days, that are getting thrown at us as parents.
Oh, there's just so much.
You know, at the end of the day, if my kid comes home with a smile on her face,
yeah, that's a good thing.
that's a win.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the alternate ending is not something I ever want to live with.
No.
You know? And so regardless of how comprehensible some of this stuff is, or, you know, I don't know, whatever. Something about looking at that and seeing those smiles coming back made me feel so good and so happy.
Yeah.
And proud of us, I think, as a parenting group, that all four of us have come together and done it the way we've done it, because I think we've been there for her, and obviously it's working.
Yeah.
And whatever is in the end is going to be anyway.
And it's really hard to sometimes realize that you're doing it right.
You never know.
You know, like for me, like I'm a very hard on myself as a parent.
Yeah.
So I never think I'm doing enough. Right. And then to see, like you just said, you see all this, you know, you see the smiles through the years, not the smiles, and then the smiles.
Yeah.
And so to see that, that is kind of cool.
And that
I'll have to
data
check that
point,
out.
like I said,
Yeah.
I mean, that snapshot data point year after year, same time of the year.
Yeah.
We've got what, like 10 years of it in pictures. And I mean, man, I'm telling you, you can see it like a graph, like a line.
Yeah. I believe
line
it.
graph. And the last few, that smile's coming back.
That's good.
So I'm like, she may not always talk a lot, but I've noticed her talking more. My point being, for those of you with teenagers out there, I don't know. I mean, it's
well, you know, with teenagers, it's like a storm, right?
it's a scary time for parents.
It's like,
I mean,
there's going to be those calm moments where it's just like, okay, everything's good. But then there's those rough moments where it's just like, holy shit, the ship's going to break.
Right.
But then it's like, you got to weather that. You got to just let that storm pass and go through it and just help with what you can.
Right. You're like the weather.
You're like the
station.
lighthouse for your kids.
Yeah.
You're guiding them to a safe point.
Hey,
in their
these
life.
are rocks.
You know what I mean?
Look out. Yeah.
They might not always listen. They might sometimes be pissed at you, hate you. Like I've seen some pretty gnarly matches with Alicia and, you know, both our daughters, or at least the older ones.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but then to see they come through that,
Out
you
the
know,
other
like
side.
like Sadia, there was a
You're
time where it was just like, holy shit, this is going crazy. But then all of a sudden it just came, and then it was like, you see the sun, you see everything's just calm, and you're like, okay.
And they turn out all right.
You know, we guided you to safety. Well, maybe not I, but like, you know, mom got you there.
You're definitely a part of that.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No,
so
anybody,
to see that, it's
any
oh, man,
person that has a role in a kid's life is a part of that system of.
I always look at it. The thing what I try not to look at is, like, I always look, okay, my kids, you know, maybe thinking a certain way or feeling a certain type of way or dealing with depression. I always look at myself like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I caused this. You know,
right.
like,
which is a dangerous game.
I shouldn't have done, you know, I shouldn't yelled back then on this, or you know, maybe wasn't the good parent here. Yeah. But it's really hard to, you know, like for me now, I'm trying to break that off.
That's
I'm
good.
Just like, okay.
Because we do have to accept that we too are.
I think as parents, we tend to look at, you know, oh, did we fail somewhere?
I was so hard on the concept of parenting until I actually had kids. I used to say stupid things to my parents all the time about whatever I thought they did wrong.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know, I went to college, right? This is a problem with college. Kids come back a little cocky, thinking that they know better. I took a psychology class and, you know, talking about how spanking's not good. And I was like, yeah, we should never spank. I spanked Elliot. I didn't spank him a lot. I didn't spank him particularly hard. It was a swat on the butt.
Yeah.
But he learned very quickly that he's going to get a swat in the butt and he doesn't like it. So for him, it worked. And there were times when it worked. And there were times where it wasn't justifiable to swat him, and I didn't. So it's like one of those things with parenting, like you can think a lot of things until you are a parent. But every parent makes mistakes. And when you have kids, that's the moment you realize you don't have a kid and just suddenly have like a manual.
Like, I know what I'm doing.
You try your best with what you have in that moment, that day, that time.
Yeah.
And you try not to screw it up too bad.
And I think a lot of times parents, you're just kind of going off of what you probably seen or learned as you grew up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And we all know how those teenagers are.
Yeah.
And we all know how those kids are when it's bedtime.
Yes. Yeah,
so
we'll end on this.
This is a little clip
Your kids do this.
pretty fun for all you parents out there.
Hey, look at me.
Let's
look
see
at
your
me.
talent.
No, hey. No, you need to look at me.
I don't have to do.
That's a teenage moment.
Dude, that's my
right there.
son. Like, JJ will tell him to go to bed, and he listens, but it'll take him a while.
Elliot's pretty good. Like, we've gotten pretty good routines down. And this year, I feel like JJ and Elliot maybe have flip-flopped a little bit. Yeah. I feel like JJ loved school. Elliot, Elliot doesn't love school, but I'm not getting as much resistance from him.
Yeah.
So, which is so nice.
And JJ, he's not resistant. But like, he had homework the other day. He had to write an essay. And he was just like, I don't know what to do. I can't think of anything. Like, he's like stressing out.
Yeah.
I'm like, buddy, I go, if there's one thing your strong suit, and for my son, I think one of his strongest suits, and I've told him this, is his writing. He has a very great imagination. I've read some of his stories, and I'm not just saying that because he's my son, but some of this stuff is real. It's pretty well written for fucking, at the time, the one I read was like 4th grade. You're like, damn, this is actually kind of funny, or, he was writing about his summer. This is what he had, not his summer, but like the time he went to Universal Studios or when we went to LA and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but he was like stressing about that. And so to see that I'm trying to help him, okay, it's just 5th grade, like he still doesn't hate school. It's just, I just get it, I think he hears, sometimes I think he hears from the big sister about, or he used to hear Cheeky complain about school. So he's mimicking that. Yeah. But like this year, Cheeky's doing really well right now.
Good.
School, and
good for her.
She's, it's her senior year. She knows she's got to
she doesn't want to be there forever.
No. And I think she knows that now. And she's kicking ass actually pretty well in school.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, now.
Yeah, Elliot, I got a text. Well, we have not texting, but you get a text message from the teacher, right, through this app.
Parent Square.
Yeah. And so I got one with a picture of him, and he's kind of doing his awkward smile. He wrote this algorithm, whatever, on his homework, and she put it up on the board, and the kids apparently had a blast trying to solve it. And they were calling him a genius and telling him that he was going to go to Harvard. And I'm like, for him, that's a big deal because he does not like that kind of attention.
Yeah.
To even allow her to take a picture of him kind of smiling, to me as a dad,
what was it? Like a math?
Yeah, it was math. Sorry, I didn't really clarify that. It was math homework.
Oh.
And so he had written something on his math page. I'm not 100% sure what it was, but it was whatever they're working on. He wrote some sort of question.
Oh.
And all the kids in the class got into it and were working together to solve it on the board. And they were just, according to her, they were just hyping him up. Like how smart he is for coming up with that. And again, for my kid who's been very closed off, and he has friends. He's not like a little kid that you're worried he's going to shoot up the school or something, but he doesn't like the limelight. He doesn't like the attention. And if it comes to him, he's very uncomfortable with it. You can tell he was uncomfortable, but there was this piece of him that allowed it.
Yeah.
And that was huge growth for him. That was a big thing. And I felt really, really happy to see that. So
that's cool. Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's okay. It's good to have kids feel like it's good to feel good about what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And every kid is a genius in their own right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've met people that were super, super smart. I used to want to be one of those people. I wanted to be that weird genius that was just so incredible. The older I get, the more I realize it's so much better to just be normal smart.
That's me.
Just smart enough and have a personality and be able to live your life and do your thing.
Yeah.
And I think, again, you get that when you have your own kids. You realize what your parents saw. You realize what your parents didn't think.
Yeah.
I used to spend so much time thinking I wasn't as good as other kids in my family or something, or my parents wish I were smarter or better. And then you have your own kids and you're like, no, they loved you for who you were.
Yeah. They didn't care.
And it's not that they had to. It's just, for most parents, it's innate. It's in you.
Yeah. I mean, growing up being called stupid and stuff, I mean, I guess, yeah, I never had that.
But it was in a loving way.
Yeah. You big idiot.
There are some horrible parents. Don't
There
get me
is.
wrong.
No, my mom wasn't like that. I'm kidding.
But I think let's actually end on some uplifting
Jesus
words here. For those of you that maybe missed church today, or you're feeling like you need
Are you Gen Zers?
a little God love in your life, this is for you. That we enjoyed listening to this earlier.
This is from a Gen Z.
After Jesus started live streaming and the chat filled up, he began to go off saying, W to those who aren't thirsty for this midlife, for they will have eternal life. W to those who take L's from this life, for they will receive an everlasting W. W to those who don't throw hands, for they will secure the eternal bag.
Eternal bag. I love that.
W to those who want help passing God's vibe check, for he will say bet. W to those who don't cancel others, for they will not be canceled by the top G. W to those whose spiritual fit is immaculate, for their hearts will be cuffed by God. W to those who turn ops into bros, for they will be called CEOs of peace. W to those who catch hands for being valid, for they will not be left unread by God. W to you when the ops be capping hard, and to you so very dirty because you're my fam. Trust, you have crushed it, and have the eternal W, for so they did the true bros before you.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I mean,
the music behind it.
It sounds so legit.
Serious. I mean, it is. I need to go to like I don't even know if Urban Dictionary is right for this, but I need to understand what all this kid lingo is.
Yeah,
but
the W is like a win, right?
what's L?
Loss. You're going to take an L.
Loss?
You're going to take an L.
Okay, wins and loss. Cuffed.
Cuffs, like, cuffed. Like,
How do you know all this stuff?
just
the
stuff
girls?
I've read
Oh my
and
God.
hear. And then eternal bag, like your money, eternal bag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're going to secure that bag.
I don't
That's like
remember
getting your
having this much lingo as kids.
Nah, there probably was. It's
No?
crazy.
I mean, it's like there's so many things.
there's
I've never
some
heard.
lingo, but I don't think it was as much.
That was pretty
Cappins,
great, though.
lying.
Oh,
like-
caps.
yeah,
lying?
don't- yeah,
no
cap- no
So when
cap.
they say no cap, then
That
you
means
know
you're
lie.
not lying. No lie. All right,
wish
if you're
I
capping,
understood-
that's cap. That means you're like lying.
I wish I understood where the origin of this stuff is. Like, how did cap become the thing for lie?
So like today, Alicia made the kids and us actually egg sandwiches, and I was like, Elliot, do you want one? He's like, yeah, I'll have one. And I was like, hey, babe, yeah. Elliot said, yeah, he said, hell yeah, I want one of them. Those things slap.
And slap means great.
Yeah, those are cool, right?
Cool.
I try to use the lingo
Good
as
for you.
only a 40-year-old man
I am
can.
way too out. Like it's I'm already at that point where I'm not even gonna try.
I do
First of all, why for me?
I do it to be funny.
But I've heard some funny things. A couple years ago, I had kids that just randomly say "coco melon," and finally I had to hit it hard and be like, "Stop! No, I'm in the middle of teaching. You do not shout out coco melon."
Coco melon.
It was like the weird one little boy,
were-
and I felt bad for him because he was a sweet kid, but he just kept doing it. And finally, he's like, "Coco melon." I'm like, I don't want to hear coco melon again.
Like,
We're
fuck
done.
Coco
We're done
melon.
with coco melon. Ooh. All right, we're good. Just knock it off.
You can watch Coco Melon
Yeah, you
on
watch
your
coco
own.
melon. Oh, I still to this day don't know what coco melon is. I know it's something.
It's a show on I think it was
Okay.
on Netflix.
Like
It's like a kid show.
Yeah, that's what I figured the way they would, because they would say it the way. Yeah, that's pretty much how they'd say it. Coco melon. Like,
Yeah.
All right, enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right,
Anyway,
you
we're
guys. Let me actually get off this screen. Sorry, I forgot it on there. The TikTok, that was one of our sponsors this week. TikTok.
Yeah, guys, get out there and get that bag.
Get that bag.
No cap.
And you will have, what is it?
Make sure you
say?
today is Wife Appreciation Day. Just so you
is
guys
it?
know. Yeah.
Oh, I need to go home and appreciate Blanca.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alicia goes, so you gotta she goes, we're on our way home
Yeah.
from the gym and she's like, oh, it's Wife Appreciation Day. I was like, babe, I appreciate you every day.
Look, I'm going to give
She
this
goes-
guy some massive credit. if there is a husband that appreciates his wife every day, this guy brings her coffee, food, like you do amazing things
flowers
all
in
the
there.
time.
No
I don't know, man.
No cap.
You are, no cap. This guy's flying on the tizzy.
She goes, but you got
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it is
I'm
now.
gonna end up saying
It's flying
really
on the-
bad stuff, not even meaning to.
It's spinning on that dick. You know what I'm saying?
I was
Wait,
laughing because I didn't know what wanker meant.
Wanker, you wanker.
I didn't know what that meant. And
That seems like an old
I told
British
Blanca,
term.
well, it is. I know now from Ted Lasso what it means, and it makes perfect sense. But I laughed around like, you know what I'm really relieved I never did to my first graders? I'm relieved I never did an impression of a British person who was like, oh, you little wankers. Because like that would not have been good. And I could totally see me doing it. Like if I ever did do something like that, I would like, I really never connected the dot. Because like they say a lot of things that we would never openly say. Like wanker is not something that we just openly call somebody. Like,
well, it's not a term we use.
We do, but it's not like commonly used where it like we maybe they walk around and say bitch or something. I don't.
Isn't a wanker just a
like
dick?
for American wanker's like somebody that
A jack off.
works. Yeah. So I'm like. But it's one of those things I've heard so long since I was so young. I've never really thought about it. And I'm just so relieved I never did it.
That would have been fucking
Or
hilarious.
you little wankers.
Today we're going to learn about the alphabet. So on the way home, Alicia's like,
Oh, God.
no, that means you got to take me places and do stuff. I was like, babe, I took you to the gym.
Every day.
I think that's okay.
Well, you okay, how many times did you take her shopping this weekend?
We haven't gone shopping.
None
we
yet?
went, Costco doesn't count.
Nah.
Oh,
all right.
I'll end here. We went to Costco yesterday.
Yeah.
Before, because we went to go watch a movie with JJ.
Okay.
We went to Costco.
Oh, the robot movie?
Yeah, the Wild Robot.
Was it good?
It was good.
Okay.
It was sad.
Oh.
It was sad, but like a happy sad.
Yeah.
But it was really well done. But so we went to Costco first, and we were done. We check out, and JJ is like, "Whoa, you guys spent a lot of money."
Yeah.
Did we do? And JJ's very like
Money conscious.
money conscious.
Yeah.
Like I hope he has that always. He's like, "Did you guys actually need all that stuff?"
Well, let's see, buddy. Do
that's
you want
$500.
chicken melts?
It was like 500. It came to 500 something.
Yeah. Well, it's Costco.
And yeah. He's like, "Did you guys need all that? Like, come on, you guys probably didn't need everything." And we're like, "Actually, yeah, we
Yeah.
did."
Do you know what it costs to run a household?
Yeah, so we had to explain to him,
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I mean, this is gonna last."
Do you want to see what the rent cost? Like, you know what a mortgage is? You want to see
But it's funny.
the
He's
insurance?
going to be that guy. Like,
Good for
you
him.
know what? I don't fucking need.
Maybe
cereal.
he just won't buy a lot of crap. Maybe
I hope he's very frugal,
yeah.
but in a good way.
Right.
But
I hope my kids live within their means. You know.
who knows? Who knows? It's going to be a
Although when I was
high
a kid,
living cost when they get older.
oh, I know. When I was a kid, I was going to do like the Susie Orman, save half and like live off half. Yeah. Yep.
Nope.
Not happening. But you know what? Things are all right.
Yeah, fuck you, Susie.
Things are all right. Yeah, she doesn't know what she's talking about, but no.
Yeah, when gas was 40 cents a gallon, maybe.
Right. When I could use a dime and fill up my tank.
Yeah. Yeah. Cell phones weren't a thing. Get out of here,
right,
bitch.
Right. Yeah, that takes half of my income right there.
Dude.
So actually, we got a pretty good deal. I'm not going to give this company any credit because I still don't
Is it
like
going to go up after a year, though?
Oh, yeah. But then I'll just, look at changing it. The girl said that we could call her and she'd make sure it did never get changed. That's
Cap.
Oh, that's I know. Seriously, I was
Sales
like,
cap.
That's cap. See, in kids, when I was a kid, we would have said crap. It's just funny. Funny how things
Anyway.
change. You know what? Live your best life, guys and gals out there. Have a great one. Thanks to, again, we got like a handful of people that listen every week.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Really appreciate you guys. Mike's still been with us. And
Thank
for
you,
like,
Mike.
Yeah, every week he'll just kind of pop down the hall. He works with me at the school, and he'll pop in and be like, he'll laugh and say something from whatever we were talking about. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. Go Niners, Mike.
Go Niners. Yeah. Niners are playing today. I got a few guys at work that love the Niners. My cousin's husband loves the Niners, so we might watch that game. Unless Blanca wants to.
They're
go.
not doing so great, but
And they're going against Patriots, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're playing Lions tomorrow, so I'm kind of excited to watch that
gonna be
game.
good.
Lions have been okay.
Lions
so,
are good.
Yeah.
All right. All right. You guys have a good one.
Have a good one. Please out.
Secure the bag.